Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're gonna look at how you can get rid of some of the procedures which are still being displayed in the central display of the ATR aircraft. I would say they're kind of useful, right? Because they are actually the procedures which you can also find in the checklist over here, right? So if you open the checklist, you can see all the things which you need to follow before, I would say, you kind of say are ready to take off, but also what you need to perform after the takeoff. As you can see, I would say, clicking it, closing it again, right? This one hasn't been checked off, but in the center display, you can see these items have been checked off. And it also gives, I would say, a list of other procedures which you can normally use, right? So let me show you where you can, but actually how you can navigate to them. To do that, you need to go to these buttons over here. So these buttons over here do allow you to make several changes, right? We've got the procedure menu. If we click that one, you can see that the procedure menu is still there, right? But if you click, for example, the manual delete or one of the other options, it will disappear, right? So it will disappear, it will not be shown again. But what if you want to, I'd say, use them? Because in this case, hey, the after takeoff might be useful because we just took off. Well, using these buttons, you can go up and down, and using this button, you can go to validate. If you press validate, you can go to these menu items if you want, right? So if we scroll, I would say a little bit further away, it might be a little bit hard to see, I know, but I will go to that list and then say check. Because one thing you need to be aware of is that you need to make sure that it's checked, and then you can see the other things which you can do, right? So in this case, the landing gear needs to be up. Well, that's the case. In that case, you can go back again to the validate button, and then it will be scratched on the list, and we'll continue with the next item. Flaps to 0, that's done, right? And then we've got the power management, NP climbing check. That's, I would say, a setting which you need to change over here, right? This is the engine number 2, say engine number 2 mode, right? That's where you can change it. So you can change it to climb in this case. And then do the same thing for engine number 1. So there are 2 buttons. And once you've done that, you can simply check mark the item off by clicking validate. Well, the same thing is for the engine bleed, right? You can switch it on or off, and of course you can also make sure that you need to switch the taxi lights off. Once you've completed all those tasks, and I will simply acknowledge them by now, you will come to the bottom of the list, which says altimeter check, also check in the box, and then it will say procedure complete. If you now hit validate again, it will close this list, right? And it will bring you to this one. You can see in this case there's no active procedure anymore, but there's still some other procedures available. For example, you see the emergency procedures, normal procedures, as well as the abnormal procedures. And if you go to that list by using the buttons over here, right? Let's go for the abnormal procedures. That's where you will find the abnormal procedures. So in case, for example, hey, I've got a single engine operation, or hey, start 1 2 fault, or X start fail, abnormal parameters during start. Those are the items which you can validate and use to see, okay, hey, what do I need to do in those circumstances? So in this case, single engine operation. So that means, okay, hey, if I want to fly on one engine, then I need to make these changes, right? I need to set the power management to MCT, boost function if installed as required, and then land as soon as possible, and then of course switch off everything. Then you can go to the next page. Next page is, I would say, a little bit challenging because I didn't try that one yet, but I can imagine that you can scroll to these pages by using these same buttons. So let's give it a try, right? So let's scroll through it. Let's do the scroll down button. And once it's scrolled down, you can see that let me zoom in again. You can see that it selected this one, right? It selected the bottom entry. And based on that, you can press the validate button again, which is over here, to go to the next page. So those buttons are really useful if you want to navigate to the different menus, right? Can you go easier back? Yes, by pressing the proc menu, right? If you press the proc menu, you can simply, let's say, go back to the normal procedures and the emergent procedures and the abnormal procedures, right? So let's go one step downwards and then say validate. That's where we will find all the preparations which we already did, right? So in this case, we did the after takeoff. But let's think of, okay, hey, maybe we made an error and we checked one item off, which we shouldn't have checked off. Can you do that? Yes, you can do that. I'm gonna go to the list. It's a little bit small, I know. I'm gonna click validate, then I'm in the list again. And in this list, it will show me, hey, if after takeoff, then one engine out, two engine outs, right? So it looks like that I went too far. So I need to go one level back. Go one item down. Normal procedures. Yeah, let's do the first one. Let's simply select one of these options. And that's where it states, okay, hey, what do you need to do and which items do you want to, I would say, complete. In this case, you can see that as long as the checklist is not active, you can't, I must say, mark items as fixed. So the thing I wanted to show you is the recall option. And the recall option or the clear option, one of those options simply removes the check mark so you can recheck it again and then press the validate button. So that's, I would say, kind of easy. So use these buttons over here, right? In total, it are 7 buttons to go to the menus over here, right? So that allows you to kind of do those things. So not that hard, but something which you might need or might not have yet found out. So here ends this video where we looked at how you can navigate to these checklists over here, but also mark items as completed. Hope you liked this video. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you again later.